what about recurrent chest infection?
Lung infection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Chest
Okay.
infection.
Yeah. So I'm assuming the chest, she means
Huh.
lungs.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything. Okay, so that's a brilliant point, Zdenka, right?
Yeah.
Thank you for asking. Okay, so first let me tell you what is a recurring illness, right? Before I address the specific one. Your body is beautifully designed to heal itself. Okay, when you get a cut, when a bone breaks, you don't go and heal it, it heals itself, right? You
Yeah.
might put a band-aid to stop it from, anything more happening. We put a cast on the bone, but the cast is to help the body heal itself, and nothing more should shift. So you straighten your hand, you put a cast, but the body does the healing, right? Like that, for every small and big thing, the body is designed to heal itself. All the posits, it's actually Atmanirbhar, right? Everything has been provided. The only time it does not heal itself is when it wants to give you a message, but if it heals, you'll not take the message. It's like the messenger came to the door. So
Mm.
the messenger comes to the door. If you don't open the door, he has to keep knocking, keep knocking, keep knocking louder and louder and louder, and probably break the door down to finally get your attention. But if you take the parcel, if you take the message, he'll be like, okay, cool, bye, I'm going. Right? Your body is like that. When you're listening to the messages, it doesn't need to shout. But if you don't listen, then it needs to become louder and more intense to get your attention. Now, sometimes what happens, like the courier guy, if you're not at home, he'll come back and then go away, come back and go away until he catches you. Like that, recurring illnesses, when you don't take the message, when you're not emotionally available, when you're not conscious, it has to keep coming back to get your attention and say, yeah, ab to sun lo. Can you just listen to me? Sit, listen, right? So now, that's a recurring illness, by the way. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
in short, your body's only function is to support you to reach your goal. Now, the goal of human life, if you look at it spiritually, is enlightenment also, right? Or even if we don't even look at spiritually, you want to live a happy life, right? So anything that's making you even remotely unhappy, anything that's taking you away, your body is going to give you signals and communicate with you. Okay. So let's say chest. Now, if we're looking at chest, what is the function of your chest? I'm going to put it back to Zdenka. What are the symptoms? How does it make you feel? What is the function of your lungs or chest? Tell
Mm.
me.
All right, we'll wait for Zdenka's response.
Or anyone can answer. I'm happy for anyone to answer.
Absolutely.
And Zdenka can give details
Yeah.
if she
In,
chooses to.
in fact, Janki, you've got a list of questions and list of health
Yeah.
issues that have been raised,
Yeah.
and we will definitely bring them up at some point on this call.
Yes.
Everyone,
Yes.
stay tuned. So we are getting common responses to the chest function, which is to breathe.
Yes. To breathe, right?
Hmm.
Breathing is what keeps us alive. The body can go without food and water and everything else, but not even more than 2-3 minutes without breath.
Yeah.
So if somebody is constantly getting a recurring chest infection, where are they afraid of breathing in the joy of life? Where are they afraid of living? Right? And now I'm going deeper. I'm not going into the obvious pollution here and everything is going on. So pollution
Hmm.
affects everyone in the city. In Mumbai, we are 25 million people. But let's say 10% will get affected by the pollution more than others. Those
Hmm.
10% people we're talking about, and it'll keep recurring. What about the 90 that's not getting affected, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't have that subconsciously. They don't feel, I'm tired of living, or I can't do this anymore. It's very difficult even to just breathe, the act of breathing, which otherwise is so effortless. So you have to go deeper into the
Yeah.
emotional causes till you reach the root. When you reach the root, also, by the way, let me share before, and because a lot of people are asking about specific illnesses, the answers I'm going to give you here are generic answers. When we go into individual sessions, of
Hmm.
course, I would go into absolutely to the core as to when did it begin, how it started, what is the actually trauma or trigger memory which is stuck in your cellular, at a cellular level. So we heal that. But the answers I'm going to give you are very, very generic, right? So anything to do with lungs. And as we also know, lungs is grief. So either they're holding on to a sadness, okay, or some grief, or they're really tired and, like it's difficult to even just take a breath without getting fatigued, or where are you so tired of living? So you have to ask those kind of questions to know more. So yeah, that is
It's
what.
beautiful, Janki. It's really fascinating. In fact, I want to tell all of you, keep those thoughts with you, keep those questions with you,
Yeah.
because today Janki is also going to do a live individual demo with some of you. So keep those questions, we will come back to them. For now, Janki, couple of people have asked about the breast. So let me just bring that forward to you because it seems important to a lot of women, and then we can move forward. So Madhu had asked that she had got a mammogram done last week and the breasts were fine. But since 2 days she's having pain in her right breast sometimes. What does this indicate? And in fact, Priyanka has also asked, what about breast tumor?
Yeah. So, okay, what is the function of the breast? Again, and we're going to use a lot
Hmm.
of general knowledge and common sense. And
Yeah.
this is like school level, okay? Fifth to eighth standard
Mhm.
biology, nothing more than that. So the breasts are a sign of womanhood, right? And they are what they represent a mother and child connection, right?
Mm.
So it could be me and my child or me and my mother.
Mm-hmm.
So anytime that a person is suffering from a mother-child wound or
Mm-hmm.
mother-child trauma or a mother-child issue, it will show up as a tumor or some breast-related issue, right? Now your right-hand side is related to me and my past. The left-hand side is related to me and my future or my family. So
Mm-hmm.
again, which breast is it? There are there is actually a lot of details we go into, but I'm not going to go into, otherwise, if everyone starts asking individual illnesses, the call will never
Yeah.
end. But because there are so many women here, if ever somebody has a breast pain or breast related issue, of course, and I always say, please go for all the medical checkups, do your doctor visits, medical appointments, take your medicines, do whatever tests you need to. But along with that, that's like the cast. When you get a
Mm-hmm.
fracture, that's your cast. That will help you hold space for you till, so that you get time to work on yourself emotionally. Both have to go hand in hand, right? There is, let's say I get a very splitting headache. So I might pop a pill, might pop a pill so that it is little in control.
Yeah.
But that's only 50%. I will 50% also quickly say, okay, what did I do in the last 5, 6 hours that is triggering my headache?
Mm.
What am I feeling? Did somebody say something that is stuck in my head, which my body is saying, hello, Janki, can you please pay attention? You're taking too much stress about this thing. You're taking it too hard. So I have to do the processing just as equally important as I have to give the external medicine importance, right? So please understand that, don't ignore, while, so yes, this is alternate healing, but I would say this is your natural healing. And then there is supportive healing, which the medical modern medicine gives you. Please make the best of both.
Yeah.
But I also say this always, Shilpa, you have to learn to tap into the intelligence of your body. So what is the body again, right? So your body is like a Ferrari. Okay. It's like a brilliant, actually, it's 1,000 times better than a Ferrari. It's this beautiful, brilliant machine that has been given you, right? It's your vehicle for this lifetime. You can't change your body, right? So it's a vehicle that has been given to you, which can go to amazing speed, which can, do fantastic things, but you've only learned to ride it in first gear, right? You're doing a gross injustice. You have a supercar and then you're driving it in first gear because you've not read the manual. You've never
Mm.
understood कि अरे इसमें ये भी हो सकता है, windows button press करने से ऊपर नीचे wheels can become sports mode and cruise mode, and so many different things. There's AC, there's some room. If you don't explore the car,
Mm.
you're just going to go from point A to point B in first gear and wonder कि यार it's such a bakwas car. Likewise with your body, please start learning about the body, which is why I actually designed a whole workshop around it. And I've learned a dozen different modalities. I put all those modalities, the basics that you need to know as a non-healer, professional. You're not a
Mm-hmm.
professional healer. So the basics that you need to know just as a daily toolkit, we have a medical kit at home. So can you just have your Band-Aid and your soframycin and your Savlon and your cotton and, gauze tapes, how you have those things at home, which is a basic toolkit? Like that, I would like everybody to have a basic manual and a toolkit to deal with the body. Signs that your body is trying to communicate with you and wants you to pay attention and listen to it, right? So the first thing is if there are any recurring illnesses that you have, right? If you're constantly getting a cold or acidity or constipation or a lot of allergies or headaches, migraines, that's the number one sign that your body is telling you, hello, pay attention. Then if you're having chronic fatigue, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
always tired. You're always feeling, like low energy and tired. That's another sign that your body is saying, pay attention. There is too much stored here. Okay. If you're having excessive sweating or nightmares, right? Now, nightmares are a great sign that there's something off because whole day you're functioning from your conscious mind. But when you go to sleep at night, your conscious mind is low and your subconscious mind is active and up. So that's where it's throwing up things that it needs you to process. So if you're somebody who's having very, restless sleep, nightmares, or night sweating, these are all signs that, again, you need attention. A lot of times, if you have, let's say, thyroid problems or throat issues, these are also signs because this is a very important organ in our body. It's what helps us communicate our truth, right? So if thyroid issues are also a great sign, or great sign as in a very clear sign that
Yeah.
you need to stop and pay attention. Also sometimes where there is excessive weight gain or weight loss suddenly, you can't explain it, or you have a permanent weight issue, right? And if it's bothering you, if it's stopping you from living life to the fullest, your body is holding on to things. So this is something. But let me, since we've touched upon weight, and I know all of us here are always interested in things related to weight, let me just take 2 minutes to share these.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a lot of clients who come to lose
Mm.
weight, right? Now I had these 3 or 4, and each person holding weight is holding on to something, right? But what they're holding on to could be completely different. Their reasons for holding on. So uh, I remember one of the first sessions I did is a person came to me saying, he was probably 130 kilos. And he said, no matter what I do, my weight doesn't go down. Help me. Now, when we started working on the weight, he said, he kept saying things, I diet, I go to the gym, I swim, I do this, I do this, I do everything. I know bread has so many calories, samosa has so many calories, apple has so many calories. I know everything. But, I never lose weight. What can you do? And I just looked at him, and my first question in my head was, do you even really want to lose the weight? Because it's such a matter of pride for you, right? And then I came to know, for in his case particularly, he had always been a thin child,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and had been bullied and pushed around a lot. And then putting on weight was his way of protecting himself. Now nobody can push me around and move me.
Mm.
I'm not that lanky teenager you can just dismiss and throw out of a conversation, right? The other girl who came to me, her subconscious fear in losing weight was, I'll become very, sexy and appealing. And then it might attract unnecessary attention. And I might be unsafe then when I go out to work or I'm walking on the street.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to be fat, and, nobody should look twice at me. Another girl I looked upon, who had weight issues, her earliest childhood memory was, what came up during the therapy was, thin girls in school used to make fun of me. Thin girls are mean. If I become thin, I will become mean. So I always want to be fat. So these are little things that you
Yeah.
that stay in your mind, but they change the way you live. So if you process it, the unnecessary weight, your body will come to its whatever natural shape, but the excess or the, anything that's exaggerated will go away. Right? So your body is anything that is out of place. As I said, the body is meant to heal itself. I've seen a lot of fat people who are super energetic, super flexible. I know someone in my family who's, a swimming champion, tennis champion, cricket champion, and he's always been on the chubby side, but it's never stopped him from living life to the fullest. But this is for people who get bogged down by their weight,
Mm.
by, I can't do this and I'm huffing and puffing and panting, or, and all these are signs that I want you to take note of.
Fantastic, Janki. Janki, since you are at it, Can you tell us about two of the most common concerns which people have and which have also been mentioned on the group, which is you already covered thyroid. Can you also share with us about diabetes and hypertension, blood pressure?
Yeah, sure. So let's look at diabetes again. Let's go back to common sense. What we know about
Mhm.
diabetes. Diabetes is an inability to process the sugars, right? That the sugar that we're eating. And sugar, if you look at it, it's usually related to joy and love, right? So if there is a person who is going through unable to receive the joy or receive the love, right? Now, what happens is in diabetes, you eat sugar, but your body is not able to process it. And these people will always crave sugar also, right? I want to eat, but no, I shouldn't. I want to eat, but no, I shouldn't, right? So again, look in life. Where have you lost the ability to enjoy your life and receive the love? So if you look at, and I've seen many cases of people with diabetes, they have love in their life. They have joy in their life, but they will always be cribbing and complaining and say, there is nobody loves me. There is no joy in my life. I'm always doing this. So they have it. They'll not be able to absorb it,
Mhm.
and they'll keep cribbing ki I want, but I can't take. So where are you doing that in your life now? Usually it goes back to a deep rooted again in your childhood you could have had issues like I remember one of the first cases of diabetes I worked. There was a 65-year-old lady who came with diabetes fluctuating a lot. She said she regressed to a memory when we were doing somatic
Mhm.
healing. She was 1.5 year old when her little sister was born, and then all the attention went there. So since then she was holding on to that grudge that nobody loves me, right? And when we healed that inner child for her, then her diabetes came more in control. So she's not like healed diabetes, but that crazy fluctuation, and now she's on that absolute low borderline, but everything is in control and nothing is going so crazy and making her worry about fainting or getting high and low diabetes. So diabetes is related to this. Now blood pressure, if you look at
Mhm.
high blood pressure or low blood pressure.
Mm.
Low blood pressure is what is again common sense. What is the blood pressure? The pressure with which your heart is pumping blood, right?
Mm.
Different parts of your body. So when that pressure is low, right? So when you think of low blood pressure, what comes to your mind?
Low motivation
Low
or
motivation, low energy. So where is that
mhm.
person feeling कि क्या फायदा जी के?
Mhm.
What is the point? Nothing is going to change. So they have those kind of thoughts. Whereas
Mhm.
high blood pressure, on the other hand, is over exertion, where they want to control every little bit of their life to ensure nothing goes wrong. They want to be on the top of everything. They want to achieve. So when you have these kind of beliefs and patterns, it will either cause high blood pressure or low blood pressure. So if you, and again, I always say this, don't try to heal the illness. Heal the underlying cause, because when you heal the underlying cause, you are actually addressing the core that is there. If you just heal the illness, for the rest of your life, you'll be dependent on medicines and you'll have to keep, going back or depend. But if you work on the core, you can actually heal yourself extremely easily.
Janki, since we have got a couple of questions, about one more question, if we can move forward after that. What about acidity and gas?
These are the most common, right? So, okay, now what does an acid do? Now,
It
okay, so
helps
let me
digest.
tell you,
Huh.
the reason I'm asking you back all these questions is because I want you to know all you have to do is just ask the
Yeah.
simplest common sense questions to try and understand. Okay, I'm not saying you'll become an expert healer by asking the questions, but at least you'll get awareness about what is going on in your own life,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, mentally, physically, right? So, acidity. What does acid do in your body? So, if I put acid on, let's say this, what will happen here?
Sure, it will burn.
It will burn. Why? Because the acid is eating the
Yeah.
cells, right? It will
Mm-hmm.
corrode the cells, right? So, when the stomach is releasing acid, the stomach releases acid to digest the food.
Yeah.
But when there's excess acid being
Mm-hmm.
released, it doesn't digest the food, it starts eating away the stomach lining, right? And that's how that burning sensation comes, and then there's reflux and all of that. So when do we say, generally in common sense English, what do we say? Guilt is eating me from inside, right? Guilt
Mm-hmm.
is eating me from inside. So usually I've seen when there are people who are suffering from guilt. Now let me share this. I'd also share it in my TED talk, but there was a lady I worked with who had extreme acidity, like crazy acidity since the last 5, 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I worked with her, what I realized was, and again, she went back and regressed to a memory when all three, her current situation was all three daughters were married and gone, and she was like retired and peacefully living life, but a lot of acidity was troubling her. When he went into regression, she remembered that when my girls were little, we used to live in a joint family. My girls were little, there was always too much work and no time. And when they would not listen to me, I would hit them left, right, and center. Jaldi karo, you know. And that was the only thing. As a 22 year old, you have three children, and she would keep whacking them. And then now that her daughters are married and gone, all that, you know, like how you now have the time to think about life.
Mm-hmm.
So you were so busy living, you didn't think about it. Now all that guilt was coming up and it was eating her from inside, right? And then when we processed it, I think it took about 1 or 2 sessions. But since then, her acidity instantly dropped to like 20%, right? From like 100% where it was
Mm-hmm.
troubling her. She still has very little on and off, but that every single day burning and driving you crazy, where you can't eat mirchi, you can't eat this, you can't eat fried, you can't, all those restrictions have gone, and she has so much more freedom now.
Yeah, yeah.
She simply processed that guilt, right? So acidity is guilt. Now gas, okay? What does gas do in your body? Gas is when you've eaten something and the indigestion happens, inability to, you know, and then usually the gas keeps floating around,
Mm-hmm.
keeps moving and making you
Mm-hmm.
uncomfortable. It can go into your chest, it can go into your different organs, you get pain. So again, something happens, you're not able to process it or digest it, indigestion, right? Gas is technically indigestion.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not able to digest it, and then in your mind it's going goal. You're overthinking and thinking and thinking. So you usually will get gas if that is your nature.